This video is going to be a film study look at how Joe Flacco performed in his first game with the Cleveland Browns. Only been with the organization for 3 weeks, maybe a little less than 3 weeks, I'm not sure. Most of the time was spent with the practice squad. In fact, I believe he was reassigned to the practice squad Monday after throwing for 252 yards, 23 of 44 passing with 2 touchdowns and the one poor interception in the fourth quarter, 6.5 minutes left, when the Browns are only down by 1. Some of his throws have been categorized as easy by fans, some of which are Ravens fans on social media. I guess his 2 touchdown passes were about as simple as it gets in terms of his long career. At this point, he's 38 years old. I don't know if I'd call them easy. He also did make some throws that had a high difficulty threshold, if you ask me. Not simple at all. In fact, I'll show you a couple of them here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break these plays up into 2 parts. The first part's going to be the best throws that he had. I think the timing on the throws is what's most notable. I know a lot of people have talked about his arm strength, and I'm sure for Browns fans, comparing him to the arm strength of other quarterbacks that have played there the last 2 or 3 years, maybe even this year. Maybe the ball looks different coming out. I'm a Ravens fan first and foremost. But having said that, I thought it was the timing of when the ball arrived that to me looked different. No Browns quarterback that I have seen recently has been able to get the ball out so fast and in the air on longer throws downfield, mind you, such that before the wide receivers or tight ends are even making their break, the ball's in the air. Now, I haven't watched every Browns game, so feel free if you have, to correct me in the comments section if Deshaun Watson or DTR or Baker Mayfield prior to that was better at it than I'm giving them credit for. I saw evidence that Flacco was processing the coverage dynamic from the Rams very quickly and smoothly. I mean, that makes sense. He's a veteran. He's been around a long time, 38 years old, knows a lot about the game and how to diagnose coverages, and had an opportunity to prepare for the game as a starter. Getting the ball out before guys had even made their break, I think, was important because, A, he shared the ball among 9 receivers. And again, I have no idea if that's a typical thing for the Browns. To me, it looked like wide receivers were running their routes hard on both sides of the field. And I thought at least one wide receiver, probably two different plays, I should say, was surprised at how quickly the ball got on top of them. Anyway, let's do some stats. The fourth quarter interception was bad, clearly. Very poor timing on Flacco's part. Underthrown ball, if you ask me. The possession prior to that, the Browns had just scored to get within 20-19 and then had the ball again with 6:30 left in the fourth quarter. I love that he pushed the ball downfield. I was able to go grab, I think, 25 passes from this game. I think he had 19 throws of 10 yards or further down the field in the air, and I believe that's the most in an NFL game this year if I read the stat properly. He did connect on 8 of them, so some of which you'll see here. But read into that as you will. I believe that's the highest number of throws down the field beyond 10 yards in the air for the Browns organization in like the past 5 years. So a real paradigm shift when he's in the game. Is that what Kevin Stefanski wants? I'm not sure. In DTR, he's got a super athletic quarterback, guy who played incredible in the preseason, has shown some things in the regular season occasionally, not on a consistent basis. With Flacco, you got the other end of the spectrum. Older guy, not going to move around as well. I'm going to package these plays together by success fail, to be honest with you. We'll get the good plays rolling here, meaning the good throws, and they'll be labeled by possession. I do have at least one spelling error in here, to be real with you. Take a look at some of the best throws he had against the Rams. The game was close up through 4 minutes left. 2019 when Flacco throws his interception, which you'll see in the second set of throws. Rams take the ball down, go down, score, make it 27-19 with less than 4 minutes remaining. They add another touchdown and a safety in the ensuing 3 minutes and 26 seconds, something like that. So the score ended up 36-19. That's reality. That is the real score. But the game was clearly very competitive on a day when the Browns defense was just not able to carry the team the same way they have for most of 2023. At this point, as I record this late Wednesday evening, Flacco has not been named the starter. He should be. He threw for 254 in his first game as a starter. That's the second highest passing yards by a Browns QB in 2023. Now, of course, Deshaun Watson hasn't played a ton of games. The highest number of passing yards for the Browns this season was in their Week 3 win over the Titans when they won 27-3. For a fun comparison to try to illustrate my point, about the passing yards and what I think he could provide if you get a more typical effort from the Browns defense. Let's put it that way. Last 4 games, passing yards in reverse order: 162, 163, 195. That was Deshaun Watson against the Ravens when he played brilliant in the second half. And then 213 passing yards the week before. The Jaguars come to Cleveland on Sunday, probably without Trevor Lawrence. And to this point, Stefanski won't name a starter. That could be gamesmanship. He could be not wanting the Jags to know who the starter is, who to prepare for. I think it's quite obvious the guy that gives you the best chance to generate points consistently, throw the ball downfield. I'm sure that Flacco was involved in some of the protection schemes, some of the checks. Even though he did go back on the practice squad on Monday, I expect him to start. The film, to me, shows a different offense with him on the field. From an AFC North perspective and Ravens fans' perspective, you would not want this Joe Flacco with the full complement of the Browns' offense and defense out there. Of course, that would include Deshaun Watson. I'm talking about everyone else. Even at 38 years old, he's not as mobile or able to extend plays as a DTR or even Deshaun Watson, clearly. But the arm is still there. The ability to stick throws in tight windows, which you just saw in the previous play. I love how he played the game on Sunday as a Ravens fan. Kind of difficult to watch him play in a Browns uniform. But look, man, got to feel happy for the Browns fans. It's been a difficult season for them to deal with all the injuries. Not everything was pretty. This one was amazing up top. Probably could have been thrown a little bit further up the field rather than towards the sideline. You get the end zone angle view. It's a 42-yard gain to Elijah Moore up the right sideline. I think the ball floats a little bit more towards the sideline than he would have wanted, but nonetheless, after review, it was determined to be a completed pass. I love this throw to Moore, 8th possession. You can see that you got this kind of cover 2 look by this corner here, but it's really unusual coverage. It looks like 3 under, 3 deep, but then you have a 7th defender here with a more typical 4-man rush. And Flacco's getting the ball out quick. Another instance of Moore hasn't even turned. Ball's already out. This is an simple touchdown, I should say, to Harrison Bryant, who had 5 receptions to lead the team. I want to show you the first throw on the first possession on a 3rd down to Amari Cooper before he went out with a concussion. Cooper's at the top side of the field. I think I give you the end zone angle of this one as well. Ball is out. Cooper is still in his route. Not saying that other quarterbacks don't do this. I had not seen the Browns quarterbacks playing like this with this level of, some would call it anticipation. It's just a read. He's just reading the coverage. It's not anticipating him being open. It's a read. He's seeing the coverage, knows where the open spot on the field is, understands Cooper's route and or Cooper's read over there to the left side, sticks that throw in there. That ball was thrown, you saw it from the All-22 angle, before Cooper even made his break on that kind of skinny post. I think it's a brilliant example of Flacco's ability to process things and get the ball out. Yes, this is a simple touchdown. It wasn't all pretty, though, in this game. So we'll show a number of 3rd down incompletions here. He's trying to push the ball downfield on at least 4 of them, 3rd and 14. Now, this one's on target, if you ask me. This is the first one I showed you to Amari Cooper. My apologies. After this, you're looking at a series of incompletions on 3rd down where the Browns are forced to punt, nearly intercepted. Here's the 3rd and 14 that I was referring to, trying to go up top. It didn't seem to be on the same page with Cedric Tillman at all. From my observation, I have no idea if anything was said in a press conference about it, but he was clearly in line with Elijah Moore, Harrison Bryant. 12 targets to Moore, by the way. Additionally, I thought he was prepared to throw the football to Amari Cooper and got it to him on time multiple times before Amari Cooper went out with a concussion. Season high receiving yards for Elijah Moore. Brilliant completion over the middle there on the 3rd down to convert. Interception, 10th possession, 4th quarter. Really poorly thrown ball that kind of just dies right around midfield. Gives the Rams the football with a short field. For Ravens fans who watched him come in as a young quarterback on a veteran team and eventually rise above criticism and win a Super Bowl, it was kind of fun to hear about him succeeding on his first drive as the news was coming out. For me, at least, I should say, it was fun to hear that he was pushing the ball downfield, that they were able to get a touchdown on their first drive under Joe Flacco. It was exciting. You had no idea at that point how it was going to continue, that he was going to have the football down 20-19 in the fourth quarter on the road with an opportunity to possibly win. For Browns fans, like I said, who've dealt with a difficult season from an injury standpoint, I hope it was exciting, regardless of who the quarterback is. Flacco, Watson, DTR, you want a quarterback who can try to generate enough points for this team to win with a brilliant defense. Can Joe Flacco keep it up? Well, he did for most of the game Sunday. Will the Browns and Stefanski finally decide to start him? When will they announce, at least, let's put it that way, who the starter will be? I'm not sure. Even if DTR is healthy, to me, they should start Joe Flacco. Things look drastically different with this offense. Even the way that Deshaun Watson played in the second half against the Ravens, they had a 17-play drive. He was brilliant against the Ravens in the second half. I think he was 14 of 15 throwing in the second half. So I'm not including that offense, which that day in that half at least, they looked unstoppable. Brilliant play calling, great execution. Deshaun Watson played through 2 injuries, I believe, to get a win against one of the top defenses in the NFL on the road. So an amazing day. So I'm not talking about that particular half. Generally, what we saw from the Browns offense this year with so many injuries to the offensive line, Nick Chubb being out, didn't look anything like what Joe Flacco brought on that first possession. If the defense can return to being that physically dominant force again, pending the health of Myles Garrett, and I think it's Denzel Ward as well, if the defense can return to being that group, and Flacco can give you what he did on Sunday, to me that's a winning formula. It's damn near a scary formula for real for a lot of teams in the AFC. 7-5, probably needing 3 wins. I would presume 3 wins in their next 5 games with Deshaun Watson being out for the year. Browns fans, if you've listened this long, first of all, I appreciate it, so thank you. Second of all, you may have a different opinion. You may want to see DTR get the start, and I understand that because he's got a future with the franchise, and presumably Joe Flacco does not. Joe Flacco's an interesting guy, though. He's always been calm. Moments have never been too big for him, even going back to his rookie season. Surprisingly athletic at times, and I think he showed at least one example of that in a play that I illustrated here. Let me know what you think of the video in the comments section if you're a Ravens fan or a Browns fan. Hopefully people haven't been warring in the comments section if it was Browns and Ravens fans watching this thing premiere. NFL always provides us with unexpected moments. I did not have Joe Flacco signing with the Browns and then showing up after being with the franchise for 3 weeks and damn near winning a football game on the road as a starting quarterback after really putting on a show for the better part of 3.5 quarters with his arm strength, his intelligence, his ability to see coverages and find the open spots, hit receivers earlier than maybe the ball had been arriving at certain times. Appreciate you guys' time. If you enjoyed the video and you think other Ravens fans or Browns fans would enjoy this content, this film study look at Joe Flacco in Week 13, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.